The world is really changing. It's not like before.
So tell them the story that you told me while we were having lunch together about how India has changed and what the first ifex in Pune looked like.
It was like a train from Mumbai to Pune,
Right.
and it was really a travel I will never forget.
So what are some practices that Chinese could do very effectively that has put them ahead of the game than India?
This is one point I want really to point out. When you invest in India, think about.
Only a year ago, we dreamt of having a single place that foundry professionals could come and share their journeys, their achievements, their new innovations, or any other objective that they might have. I'm proud to say that today that dream is the Foundry Podcast. From covering some of the biggest names in the Indian foundry industry, we are now ready to take on the world. So if you're in Europe, or North America, or South America, or anywhere in Asia or Africa, if you have something to say, we want to hear it. Reach out to us through the link in the description and we'll make it happen. And now, back to the show with Thomas. We have with us here a very important guest, all the way from Germany. In fact, he's come to India many times. So, Mr. Thomas, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much for joining us in India here. Although, I mean, you're pretty much used to traveling in India. So, Mr. Thomas is the editor at Foundry Planet, one of the largest media companies in the foundry industry worldwide. You've come here for IFC 2025, right? Essentially, you've not been missing any ifex in India for the last 20 years.
That's right.
So we're very curious, how did you get into the foundry industry and start with your journey with Foundry Planet?
That's a good question, Ian. I was in charge for a German magazine for the foundry industry.
Right.
Only Germany and part of Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy. And at the end of the day, it was not my idea to create Foundry Planet. It was the idea of the industry.
Okay.
Because the industry at that time, it was in 2004, was already serving on the whole globe. And they were asking me, Thomas, have you got an idea to create some media for the whole world, but not in a printed version?
Correct,
have you got an idea? I said, oh, of course I have an idea, because we had experience with online media. And I said, okay, I will set up something for the foundry industry.
Right.
We call it Foundry Planet. And when you support me, then we will start. And I got enough support, and we started immediately. And it was really funny when we really went out in the world, go out and visit the markets and explore the markets. It was very, very much easier to go out than to stay at home, because at home they were asking me, what are you doing there?
Right.
And in India, they were happy to have a new media.
Right.
In Brazil, they were happy. In the US, everywhere, also in China. And that was the start of Foundry Planet.
So you would say it was easier to start Foundry Planet outside Germany, because
it was easier, yes, because Germans are very good in foundry business, but they said, okay, we don't need things like this.
Correct.
Now it's totally changed, because digital media is normal.
Right.
And so I'm really happy to be here with you, because you are a young guy, presenting absolutely digital media. And, that's all right.
Thank you so much. But I would consider you the pioneer, because you thought of digital media 21 years ago. So back then, obviously, internet was not as common in different countries.
That's right.
So there were a lot of limitations with the internet. With technology, like right now, we're filming on my phone with wireless microphones here. But back then, you would probably have wires running around the place. Battery would be a problem.
Exactly.
So there were a lot of limitations back then. So that's why I really look up to you and Foundry Planet. And I think a couple of months ago, I tried my best to reach out to him, and then we had a Zoom call, which was really, really fun, by the way.
Yeah.
It was the most exciting Zoom call. So I'm really happy to finally be filming with you here today. So you start Foundry Planet 20 years ago, right? You start traveling around the world, bringing the news of Foundry, right, I would say. What was the scenario of the Foundry like 20 years ago? In not only worldwide, but maybe in Europe?
I can tell it quite easy, because people said people will buy castings where you produce it.
Correct.
So where there was, we are not afraid of competition,
Correct.
because it was more difficult to send the big castings from one country to the others. And they said, okay, don't be afraid. The customers will buy where you produce it, very close to.
Right.
And this was changing continuously afterwards, because it was no longer a problem to transport castings from one continent to the other.
Correct.
And there are differences because labor costs and material is in other countries is much more cheaper, and people were calculating and thinking about what can we do. And so emerging markets like India were more and more interesting for the calculators of the European and American markets.
So basically, to put it harshly, India stole some business from Europe. Basically, that's what he's trying to say.
I wouldn't say stole. I would say this is compensation. This is compensation. When you see that you cannot produce products with a competitive price, you will have global sourcing, and you will find out where can you get material.
But and it's supply and demand. You can't really do anything about it.
It's not only the price, and Europeans are always interested in high quality, and a lot of things more. And then when you really fulfill all these regulations and all these criteria, then you are part of the game.
Right. So it's not only price; it's also quality.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right. So you start Foundry Planet. I mean, China emerged as a global foundry player much before India is right now, right? So you must have had a lot of media that you had with China. So what are some practices that Chinese could do very effectively that has put them ahead of the game than India?
Yes, I remember this impressive speech from Bharat Forge, Mr. Baba Kalyani.
Right, yesterday.
Yes, yesterday. And he compared the start of Chinese progress and the Indian one. And this is really was different. But now you have the chance to follow this. And now we are 20 years ahead, and you have a good chance to follow and to build up your fantastic domestic market, and afterwards absolutely for the world market. You are already in the world market, but not so many. So many. And as he pointed out, at the moment recently, the world is really changing a lot. Ecopolitics. It's not like before. When we had this talk 1 year before, it would be different. And now we have wars, and we have the big blocs. And the U.S., you don't know what the new president is going to do. When he sleeps well, it's maybe nice for us. When he doesn't sleep well, we don't know.
It's very whimsical, I would say.
Yes, it is, and so it's very volatile, and we have to find maybe new markets and maybe also new friends, or go to old friends and stay together and develop your business.
That's great. So Foundry Planet is essentially what exactly does Foundry Planet do? Like, if you had to summarize, talk a little bit about Foundry Planet.
Foundry Planet is first information market. So you get information about foundries all over the world, and about technologies, about companies, about machinery producer, about services, and new development. And at the end of the day, Foundry Planet is also a place where you can meet. And digital media makes it quite easy. And we never did what Chinese always asked us to have something like Alibaba. I said, no, we are not like Alibaba. and we won't be like Alibaba because Europeans don't behave like it.
Correct.
So
They're
when
not very price sensitive. They're more on the quality side, as you mentioned.
it's a good idea, and it's tremendously successful, but not for European thinking. And I'm a great fan of different cultures and different behaviors. And
Right.
at the end of the day, this makes it when we come together
Right.
and we achieve something together.
Right. That's good. That's a very important point you brought in, because something that works in one country will not essentially work in another country because of the cultural differences that we have. So that's a very important lesson to take.
Yes, we have to accept it.
Right.
Different cultures, different behaviors,
Right.
and at the end of the day, we have the good chance to create something new together.
Right.
And this is the point now where we have a lot of disruption in the world, and yes, we have to leave maybe old things we got used to it, and we create new ones, and this is a chance always.
Right. Right.
Always.
So that's great. Now I want to understand a little bit from you about your journey in India, because essentially you have come for the first ifex in Pune 21 years ago, I believe.
Yes.
Right. That was a really nice story. So tell them the story that you told me while we were having lunch together about how India has changed and what the first ifex in Pune looked like.
It was like your tourist advertisement is incredible India. Huh? when you come to India first time, it's really incredible because it's different,
Right.
and you have to learn a lot. Huh? You
Right.
have to learn how to go out of the airport, take a taxi, this old yellow one,
Correct.
and go to a hotel, and then book a train from Mumbai to Pune.
Right.
And it was really this was a travel I will never forget. And then you come to the hotel, you ask the polite reception lady, can you tell me where is the fairground? And they say, oh, there's no fairground in Pune. Oh, I said, and there must be some fairground because there's a big fair for the foundry industry. Oh, foundry industry. No, I have never heard about this. Maybe I was looking, maybe it's the wrong date or something like that. And then she said, there was a nice tent, maybe two, close to the university. Perhaps is this what you mean?
Right.
And then I took the tuk-tuk, and I was going there, and I saw ifex, and I said, okay.
You made it. So when you said 2 tents, how how big was it approximately?
I can tell you, it was when I remember, it was not really big.
Was it the size of this room?
No, a little bit more.
A little bit more than that.
But
right.
It was for all the important suppliers.
Right.
Everyone was there, and they had also machines.
Right.
And they had around the tents. You had the generators to make energy for the machines. So this is a totally changed. Today there are not so many machines in the halls.
Right.
That time, everybody wanted to show big machines, mixers and sand preparation and molding line, whatever.
That's good. So India's changed a lot.
Yep.
Right. You've been coming here. You've been to how many states in India? Just so I can show you guys that he does know his states. Right.
Let me think about it. I was in Mumbai. I was in Pune. I was in Agra. I was in Chandigarh. I was in Delhi. I was in Kolkata once before. I was in Chennai. I was in Bangalore, in Coimbatore. And
pretty impressive. Can we go for last one? Let's mix 10.
Maybe we have
Kerala?
to find another one.
Kerala?
No.
No Kerala?
No. Let's have 9.
That's 9. It's still pretty good. Still pretty good. Congratulations on that. I can confess I don't know that many states in Germany, by the way. So Mr. Thomas definitely knows India. So since you've been coming to India all these years, right? As part of media, you're also learning what the Indian foundry industry is doing new and how they've transitioned. So what the key takeaway do you have from this current ifex that you could say, looking back 21 years ago, that okay, this is really improved. So what is the new situation like?
That's a tremendously the development.
Right.
So the people I met from IIF and all these really polite people, it was always the same hospitality.
Right.
I can tell you it was really always great, and Indian hospitality is really fantastic. But the kind of presentation was every year was changing, was getting better and better and better.
Right.
And it was getting more suppliers, more foundries coming, and I can tell you this is a really good development. It was not so fast, but it was visible.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
And now it's a chance to really to go the next step.
So if foundry men are listening, Mr. Thomas's advice is that people are done walking. It's time to run now, right? Essentially, that's the summary. So I think we're really happy to have you here in India. I hope to see you at the next ifex, right? I hope before that I can meet you in Germany.
Yes,
and
of course.
Essentially we can do something with Foundry Planet, right?
Yeah, set up some
right.
cooperation. Yes.
Right. So I mean, the Foundry podcast definitely wants to work with Foundry Planet. So I'm not sure how that can happen, but we are getting some international requests for podcasts now, and maybe in the future we might maybe collaborate somewhere, and you might see Thomas again on the channel in another country, right? So that's something that's we're really looking forward to. Mr. Thomas, it's been great having you. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, thinking about India's future. And I'm happy to be here because you have heard maybe in Europe, it's at the moment we have a lot of problems. We have
right.
High energy costs. We have no longer so skilled workers, and we are no longer really competitive. And so I'm really a little bit scared about. But coming to India, I see a lot of people with optimism.
Right.
And this is, for us, it's good because we are global media. We are interested in your business, and
right.
Our machine suppliers and service right. people wanted to sell good machinery in India.
Right.
And this is one point I want really to point out coming to an end is when you invest in India, think about investments in high quality equipment,
right.
And think about automation, because it will be necessary to have automated processes, and when you want to sell to the world market, it's absolutely necessary. You know these regulations from the European Union, like CBAM and things right. like this, and they expect highest quality and all the regulations,
right.
and also for your domestic market. Indian people must have the same quality.
Correct, correct.
Think about, and coming back to the words of Mr. Kalyani, try to create new products yourself. And maybe this is absolute good perspective for future.
Correct. That's good. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for your time.
Was my pleasure.
Yeah. I really appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah. And I think hope to meet you again in the future. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.